time, I'll mute the YouTube and we can just chat.
Okay.
Hello, Ethan.
Hey, Vid.
Nice to see you, brother.
Nice to see you too.
So this is my first interview on YouTube, and also my first live video ever. So we were learning on our first round and we made a couple of mistakes. So it's nice to see you, and let's get into it. So you've been going through a lot over the last couple of years. I think we first met in 2016 or early 2017. I don't know if you remember when that was.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, in Hawaii during doing a retreat.
Mm-hmm.
You were cooking and joining in on the festivities, and we got to know each other. And then you came out to Dubai to help me get healthy and lose weight. And we spent how many months were you here in Dubai?
I think 3 months.
3 months, and we got quite deep and discussed a lot of things. Started writing a book together. Then you ended up going to India. Was it Mumbai first?
Bangalore and
Oh,
then
you went to
Mumbai.
Bangalore, then to Mumbai. We'll get into that. You got seriously sick while you were in India. Faced some amazing challenges. Got back to the States. And then I think there's a really interesting story here for anyone who's going through a lot, or is thinking that they're going through a lot. And I think you have a lot to teach us all. So I just wanted to ask you, to start off where you'd like to. Maybe you can start off with your childhood. I've got one picture of you as a kid. Or you could, just start off wherever you like. So.
I don't know. What do you think?
Just tell us about, like where you were born, where you grew up, a little bit about your family. Just to give us a kind of background, maybe.
Yeah. Well, I grew up in Pennsylvania. That's on the East Coast of the United States. And it seemed like a pretty normal childhood. I like to play sports, play in nature, create like tree houses and things like that. And yeah, so pretty just mainstream, normal family.
Yeah. Hold on. And what did you study at school, and what were you good at, and how was your relationship with your parents, your brother? I think you've got one or two brothers.
2 brothers.
2 brothers, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, my 2 brothers are a lot older than me, so we didn't really go to school together. And then my sister, she's pretty close to my age. Yeah, there's so much pain now in the head, so I'm just trying to be mindful of that. It feels like the left side of the body is going to get paralyzed.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about, maybe just start at the other end, and what's happening with you now, and what do you want to share? Like what's your situation right now, and in the last few days? And
Hey, it froze.
The screen froze?
Yeah, your screen froze for like 30 seconds.
Oh wow. Okay. Now am I back now?
Yeah, now you're back.
Okay, great. So in case you didn't hear me, like perhaps you wanted to share what you're going through right now, or anything you'd like, anything you'd like to discuss, really.
Hmm. Well, I'm healing stage 4 brain cancer. Uh, I just had 2 head surgeries a few weeks ago to clean out a head infection. And then while in the hospital, there was a new tumor growth that's been pressing on the nerve here, making the other side of the body feels like it's going to get paralyzed if it gets a lot worse. So, yeah, I'm basically just trying to. Oh, cool picture.
Yeah, that's your spiritual stuff. So I just wanted to, like to 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 perhaps like to pull it into context. So this was last year, after you'd got back to the States, and I don't remember if it was this exact scan, but you were leaving Hawaii, and on the day you left Hawaii, I think you felt was it you had like a headache, or I can't remember exactly what it was. You were feeling quite sick that day. Um,
Yeah,
and you arrived in New York and you went to see the doctor and they did an MRI, and they
yeah,
found this in your brain essentially. Um, and that
yeah.
was
I mean, this is a
a little
recent
later.
MRI, but
This is a recent one, but I remember it wasn't as clear as this, but it was. I think maybe the one before is like a comparison with what's recent, right? The one on the right.
yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so you can see it's grown quite a lot. So you realized you had a tumor in your brain, and then you went for surgery.
Yeah,
Again, these pictures are not exactly in order. This is a recent picture, but it was fairly similar on your earlier pictures. We don't have
yeah.
every picture that you had. But just to get the timeline right, when was that when you like went for your first surgery and you realized? Did you go for radiotherapy first, or how did it work? I can't remember exactly.
Well, I had surgery to remove as much of the tumor as they could. That was October 2019. And then
Okay.
there were 7 weeks of radiation and low dose chemo. Uh, and then a head infection formed. And February 2020, I had another head surgery to clean out the head infection.
Yeah, so it kind of happened just before the virus hit us all, and
Oh,
and
yeah, exactly.
yeah, and then we didn't, and then by the time you had gone in for the second surgery, the virus had come, but the world hadn't got into full lockdown yet,
Yeah.
if I remember rightly. Um, and that's you recently after is that your third surgery?
Yeah, that was my third head surgery.
Yeah, and then I remember for like a good part of this year, your head was something like this because you had an infection um, in your skull that you that just wasn't going away, and uh, perhaps let's get a nicer picture of you at the moment. Um, you know, what was the process like? Finding it out at first, what was going through your mind, and then how you've been dealing with it. I know, we used to talk a lot about meditation. We did a lot of meditation together. We've done a lot of spiritual things together, access different realms of reality. We could go into all of that, but how when you first heard of it, how did you deal with it, and how you've been dealing with it since, and what has it been your like way of dealing with such a news?
Yeah. Um, well, when I first found out, it felt like it was almost like a near death experience where my whole life flashed before my eyes and I saw any old fears or stress from when I was a child or any unhealthy foods I ate when I was younger. It's like I saw all of that energy go into the tumor. So it wasn't a surprise to me because I guess we all know our past and our uh, imperfections. But then at
Right.
the same time, it just felt like it was part of God's plan. Like it didn't feel like, why me? Why did this happen? It felt like everything was happening perfectly and it's actually going to lead towards my highest life purpose. That was
Right.
the feeling I got instantly.
Right. So you had this kind of intuition, and it was a kind of near-death experience.
Hmm.
Do you want to kind of explain that a little bit more? Because not many, not many people are familiar with this kind of thing. Um,
Well, often near-death experiences, like different chemicals could be activated in the brain, like DMT,
right.
and
Yeah.
so it can like instantly remember different things.
Right.
That
Um,
was my first experience, and it's just, I don't know, it's hard to describe. It feels like everything is happening according to some higher plan, and I don't even know what's going on, but I feel like something really good is happening.
yeah. That's really interesting. So, um, so then you got booked in. You know, considering the U.S. medical system, and how was your interaction with finding out and then figuring out insurance and how things are paid for? Even I'm not really familiar with that. So how did that work?
Mm.
Did you get any government assistance, or did you have to pay for it all? Or
No, I was very lucky. I got government assistance, so I didn't have to pay for any of the surgeries, um, and got food stamps. So they give me a certain amount of money each month for food, and so yeah, I was lucky in that sense.
okay, great. Um, so you went in for the first surgery, but I remember we had a lot of discussions, and you had, you began the whole thing, uh, being in the alternative health space and holistic health. You had some reservations about allopathic or Western medicine styles, and you had different advice coming in from your doctors from the Western medicine, from the medical system, and then you have your own intuition, and then you had different friends and family all like giving different advice, and then you have your own, like your own innate intuition. So how did you deal with all this conflicting advice on, what route to take, and do you have any regrets in anything that you did, or um, do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, well, it was all very new to me, um, dealing with brain cancer, and it's not something that can be. You can't just do a juice cleanse or something like that because it's a very different thing. So I don't know. Mm, It's hard to describe.
So, did you end up going for a kind of hybrid system where you're doing some things as holistic medicine would prevail and some things as per Western medicine? Or how did you go about it? You must have consciously chosen some route of health, or maybe you've changed your mind several times in between.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to do both, uh, as much as possible, like to take the best from both worlds.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Because first there was this brain surgery to remove the tumor, and then radiation and low dose chemo to try to prevent the tumor from regrowing. Um, but then head infections formed, so there was times where the head infection was more dangerous than the brain cancer. Um, so that's why I had the head surgery a few weeks ago to clean out the infection. But I think the head surgery might have even aggravated the tumor to grow. Sometimes
This
when,
is the third head surgery, or
yeah, this is the no, the fourth.
the fourth. Wow, I'm losing. Count. I'm just
Yeah.
trying to find something on my screen. It's disappeared. If you just give me a second. There was a picture that I wanted to share of your recent head surgery, but I can't. I think I'm unable to figure out how Zoom works. Technologically challenged at the moment.
Hmm.
Um, unpinned video, maybe that'll work. No. Please help me, computer. Oh, I think I found it. So is the video sharing? I mean the screen?
Yeah.
Right. So this is the helmet you've been wearing to. The picture isn't here. I'm sorry, I can't share it. But there's quite a large part of your skull missing at the moment, somewhere around on the side.
Yeah.
Is it still missing, or is there some protective layer there now?
Now there was a section of skull that was cut out, and then they put abdominal tissue to cover that hole. So right now
Right,
there's just abdominal tissue, no skull.
right. So you have to be, I assume, extremely careful on one side of your head.
Yeah.
How do you manage to sleep?
I haven't slept very well because of the
Right,
pain.
right. So, and when was the surgery conducted?
September 10th and September 11th.
Right. Um, and then, I wanted to also share, some of your art. I mean, when you were coming out here in Dubai, I don't know how long you'd been doing it, but you had just. Uh, I remember you were doing a lot of experimenting with beads, and then I think you've managed to take it a little bit more technological over the year. And uh, can you tell us a little bit about your art and what it means to you and what you're trying to express? It's
Yeah. Yeah, the art, it's really special for me. Kind of helps me center and helps me feel like I forget about time and space. And so over the years, since I was 18, I started to create the art, and I would just kind of see the images and then create them. And maybe it's some sort of like language or something. But I like to
it's
share the art with
yeah.
people, and
It
because
seems there's a very geometrical aspect to your art. It's symmetrical, and it reminds me also of like Aboriginal art in its geometry
hmm,
and choice of colors. And is it purely coming out of a? Do you plan it in any way, or does it just come out purely
kind of just
each
comes
week?
out. And usually every time that I make a piece of art, it seems like I mess up or I make a mistake, but then I just continue and it always turns into something.
Yeah, I mean, this one is almost like like a Native American totem pole.
Hmm.
They have the animals with the two eyes at the top, and
Oh yeah.
it's like a totem pole. At least it looks to me, and it's got this beautiful heart. And this one's like kind of DNA almost, or like the honeycomb structure of a bee, but like the spiraling of
Oh
DNA.
yeah. Hey, if you
Um,
could send that to me, I don't know where that image is. I think I deleted it.
Okay, I've got a copy,
Yeah.
so I'll send that to you. And this one is more mechanical in its nature. Um, Lots of them, like they do seem to have a something about them. They look very simple, but at the same time, there's something quite unique about them. Um, I don't know what you see here, but I see like the planet Earth in various kind of energy fields. Uh, Maybe I've got a good imagination. This is like the interior of an atom or something like that. And then, I think it all blends in with your spirituality. And I do remember when you came to Dubai at the beginning, well, at the in 2017, you first picked up the guitar. Well, maybe not the first time you picked up the guitar, but you picked up the guitar in the house and you knew nothing. And I remember explaining like a little bit of theory to you, and you're like, whoa, 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 slow down. This is like way beyond me. And then you started practicing every day for the 3 months, and then you went off to India for about 6 months. And when I heard you the next time, you were like amazing, and you'd been writing songs the entire time. Perhaps you can tell us a little bit about your musical journey. I remember you used to play that kind of um, uh, the metallic drum. I don't know what you call it. The one you can play the notes on.
Oh yeah.
You played that
Hmm.
quite beautifully, and maybe you can tell us a little bit about your spirituality, what you kind of believe in, what you believed in before, and if the cancer has changed your outlook or beliefs or enriched it, and in which way.
Yeah. Well, I call it my unique vibration. In one of the ceremonies, I saw, like, I don't know, it's like I saw a book in my mind, and in this book were different principles of how to connect with ourselves and how to create and how to share our gifts with other people. And so instead of calling it soul or me, I call it my unique vibration. And I felt this since I was a child, but then there was all this stress and fears and all this programming, and I forgot that vibration. But then as I started to learn about yoga and meditation and the plant medicines, then I started to feel that vibration more, and then the art would come through, and then the music also. So the music mm, helps me feel like I'm home again, basically.
Hmm.
Because I like the music language more than the language that my parents trained me to think in. I wish I was trained in music first. I was trained in thinking first.
Yeah, I don't know. I think my experience is kind of the opposite. That my earliest memories is just listening to music. Um, And if I remember right, well, I don't remember, but if what my mom tells me is true, I started to speak pretty late, and they were kind of worried whether I'm going to start speaking at all. Um, and I remember my whole childhood was just humming. I would be humming endlessly. So I think we all get there in the end, like we find our unique vibration if we just listen to it. And allow it to come up, and whatever our circumstances are, they were I don't know if it was there for a purpose or whatever, but it's just like you can riff off it. It's like when you're playing in a band, perhaps you know the other players are doing something else, and then you figure out how to add your unique vibration into the mix. So it's a learning
Yeah.
process.
Hmm.
So yeah. um, so what are you thinking about now? Like, especially I thought it'd be kind of interesting. You've had like some really unique experiences over the last couple of years, or maybe even longer. And I remember you were writing a website, and you recorded a lot of videos about what you think about, and trying to share your unique viewpoints. I don't know how much of it finally made it online. I know that we tried to write a book together, but we wrote first couple of chapters, and it was looking good.
Yeah.
And whenever we have time, we will try and complete it. Um, But what do you want to share in this video with the wider public that might see it now, or maybe 5 years from now, or whenever
Mm.
they do see it?
Well, I feel like what I'm experiencing, a lot of people are experiencing too, as far as facing death and rebirth and uh, things changing in a person's life, facing fears. Um, so I feel like I'm just an extreme example of what many people are going through. And I'm trying to it's hard to describe, but I feel like I'm bearing my own cross. Uh, I'm not Jesus at all, but like I feel like I'm bearing my own cross and other people are doing the same thing and we're helping each other energetically in like maybe the
Mm-hmm.
biggest awakening that's happened in a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
What do you mean by bearing your own cross? I mean, I'm trying to understand that. I'll tell you why in a second, but I just wanted to get your. What do you mean by that?
well, like doing my best to transmute any of the energies into love as best as I can.
So
Um,
you're trying to like a kind of alchemic thing, like taking the pain and trying to transmute that into love.
yeah, and presence. Um,
Okay.
yeah, because there's the pain that I'm dealing with, but then also having to face death, and then
Yeah.
also um, still having the dreams in my heart and the hope. Um, so
How's it been for the rest of your family? I know your mom and her partner are there nearby and they're giving you support. You're in Carolina at the moment, right?
right.
Yeah. How's it been for them and people around you, friends?
Mm, yeah, it's been pretty hard. Um, they're doing okay, but it's just been hard for them to. It's hard to caretake somebody in my position.
How often do they come around and how much time have you been like, I know that you've gone through a lot of this on your own. I mean, I've
Yeah,
tried to help from out here, but I'm in Dubai and you're in North Carolina. So there's a limited, uh, you know, uh, support that I can give from here.
yeah,
But, like you've been pretty much on your own for the last, what, 8 months?
yeah. Often, yeah,
Yeah. Um, but you've had, friends helping you, driving you to the hospital when they can,
yeah,
uh,
yeah.
and
It's
you
just been
stayed with your
basic.
dad for a while, you stayed with your mom for a while, but you've had to take a lot of this on your own.
Yeah. Oh, so yeah, like bearing my own cross. Just accepting any of my maybe karma, or maybe it's just family lineage stuff, or maybe I'm just part of the collective and we're all doing our own part. But I'm trying to have a good attitude and stay present and mm, yeah, so that's what I'm doing.
Have you been politically active at all? Are you following the election, which is like in a couple of 4 days from now, I think?
No, not at all.
Neither have I, so I've got nothing to say on that. I haven't watched the news in 3 months. I have no idea what's happening.
Yeah,
Um, been completely avoiding that, and I think that's been the greatest blessing that I've given myself, and or gift that I've given myself. I was so like involved in everything political, and then I just shut it off 3 months ago. Like seriously, shut it off. Like not even a Twitter, not even peeking at Twitter, or off Facebook, off everything. Kind of. I was writing for a while, um, and it's just been wonderful being away from the whole thing and just concentrating on what's more important in life.
yeah.
Um, um, so, how do you spend your time these days?
Mm. Well, I was in the hospital for 7 weeks after head surgery, then on
Yeah.
antibiotics, and I started chemo. Um, and then I just got out of the hospital last week. So yeah, pretty much every day is a little bit different. Um, the body is so weak, and there's the tumor on the right side of the brain is growing and pressing it on the nerve. So every day, the left side of the body feels like it's more paralyzed.
Right.
So I'm just resting a lot and just doing as many alternative treatments as I can do. Um, and then, like 2 nights ago, I had to go to the emergency room because it was nearly a grand mal seizure. So yeah, every day is a little bit different.
All right. I really can't imagine what it must be like. Do you do you do you ever get like, do you feel like bored or like you're not achieving stuff, or 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 is the pain and taking care of yourself like occupy you, or how are you dealing with it mentally, like in terms of,
Yeah,
like
mentally.
I'm sure you have to sit around for a long time doing nothing.
Yeah, and over the past year, when I've been able to meditate, I've been enjoying meditating. But often there's too much pain to sit up and meditate, so I have to just whatever position I can be in. Um, so yeah, it's just I'm trying to make everything a practice as much as I can, because if death comes soon, I want to try to be as ready as I can. Um, so that's pretty much what I do all day. I'm trying to not distract myself or just zone out with internet stuff. So I'm not doing that. So basically,
Yeah.
just pain is my meditation, or sometimes I'll talk to my angels or I'll pray to God. Mm, that's pretty much it. Oh, sometimes listening to music. You know.
What kind of music are you listening to these days?
Mm, recently, whale and dolphin music.
Oh wow. uh, I think uh, I think it'd be good, like considering this was my first live stream, and we didn't really prepare for it in any way. I just sent you a
Yeah.
message saying, let's go online. And we went online. And I guess you didn't know what format we were going to discuss in, and neither did I. It's been a little bit of a start and stop kind of interview. But, I think it'd be kind of cool to go into a discussion again, maybe in the next few days, where we share some music and some other things and just talk about what's coming up. I don't know if that's something that sounds interesting to you.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah. So we can be a little bit more prepared. I have a couple of things I've been reading, especially when you're talking about death. There was a. Have you heard of Joel Morwood before?
No, I haven't.
I'm just gonna get off screen. You'll still be able to hear me. Maybe it's right here. Um, it's a very interesting book. It was here. Um, it just disappeared out of my view. Um, it's called. It's about achieving enlightenment at the point of death,
Hmm.
and he gives different prayers to do to practice for when that time comes. Um, it's a really interesting. It's a very short. It's like extremely. It's almost like a booklet more than a book.
Hmm.
But I can't find it. I'll find it for our next discussion. Um, yeah. So, but I think it'll be quite nice to share different things, especially if you can maybe send me some links for the whale and dolphin music. Then I can put it in the description of the video, so different people can listen to it. And um, I don't know, whatever else you'd like to talk to, we can chat about that and maybe prepare a little. Um, but if there's nothing else you'd like to say right now, maybe it's a good time uh, to to close this discussion and then maybe continue it again in next week or whenever things feel right for you? Okay, I've lost your sound. I don't know if that's me or you. Oh,
How's that?
yeah, you're back.
Oh, okay.
Back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds great.
All right, good. Well, nice chatting to you, Ethan, and you can tell us all about E3 next time as well, and what that's
Okay,
about. All right,
sure.
take care.
You too. Bye.
All right, guys. That was my first interview. Um, felt very strange and awkward. I'm not usually used to asking people so many questions, but we'll try and make a better discussion next time. I think Ethan really has a lot to uh, teach and to tell us about his experiences. Um, I've, uh, I've seen a lot of it over the year, and I think he was really quite tired today and unable to really discuss more freely. So we'll try and find a time when he's able to express himself more, because there's definitely a lot more there. So thank you, and